No, the 15-minute rule in band. Get to band 15 minutes before they said you were supposed to be there. For band kids, 15 minutes before you're supposed to get there, that's on time. Time they said you're supposed to get there, that's late. Get there 15 minutes early. Hi guys, it's me, Alison. Today we are going to be doing a color guard guide. So I get a lot of comments from people that have just joined color guard or are about to go into their first year of color guard, and one of the comments asked me to make more videos for color guard members to give you guys advice and tips and all that. So I'm giving you guys a whole guide. I could talk about color guard for ages, but I'm gonna try to squish it into a video. So if you guys want more in-depth videos on certain things, let me know in the comments, and then also if you have any specific questions, I can answer those in the comments too. So I'm going to put the timestamps right here for everything I'm going to talk about so that you guys don't have to watch the entire thing if you don't want to. I'm gonna give you a basic background of color guard, essentials or what's in my bags, my advice, my personal experience, and then why I'm leaving. We're gonna start with the very basic background of what color guard is. I did not know what it was. I joined my sophomore year, and I'm a junior now. I'm finishing my junior year, so I've been in it for 2 years. By the way, I did a video called What is Color Guard, so you could go watch that. There's marching season, which is with marching band, and then there's Winterguard, which is color guard on its own, and then there are drum corps. So drum corps are over the summer, and a little bit more. They go into the school year a little bit. But they're a much more intense version of marching band, basically, except there's different instruments. It's not tied to your high school. The ages for drum corps are typically 14 to 21 or 16 to 21, depending on the corps. There is world class and there is open class. Open class is the easier drum corps, sort of, I guess, and then world class are the harder drum corps to be in. I tried out for both this year. I tried out for an open class one, which was Vessel, and then I tried out for a world class one, which was Mandarins, but I will talk about that later. Drum corps, you're gonna go so hard and practice over summer. You guys are gonna have very long rehearsal days, and then you are going to go on tour at the end. World class ones usually do longer tours than the open class drum corps do. Tours, you travel the country, you perform, you compete. So at my school, our color guard year looks like this. Each school is different with what they do. We do summer practices, then we have band camp, we have marching season, which is with the band, and inside marching season there are rehearse-a-thons, which I will also talk about. We do a couple parades. We're not a parade band. Then we do winter show, which we do inside the theater, and each section plays Christmassy songs and stuff. Then we have winter guard, which is just color guard, no band. This year we are starting solo and ensemble because band does solo and ensemble, and this year we're starting one for color guard, so you either have to choreograph a solo or a group piece. And then we are working on a piece for the school rally, a piece for lunch to help recruit people, and we're going to try to recruit people from the middle school. Then we're doing gold show, which is winter show, but not winter themed. It has a different theme. And then we have band banquet. So that's how my school's color guard year looks. That's what I'm gonna be talking about in this video. I know when I was talking to people at Mandarins, they don't do winter shows and stuff, but they do other things. So each school is different with how their years run. But basically, you're going to have a marching season and a winter guard season, most likely. Also, at my school, we only have one. I know some schools have freshmen, JV, and varsity. We don't have that. Our school's program is not to that level. The names that I give to things in this video might be different than the ones that they use at your high school or at your drum corps because everywhere calls them something a little bit different, but it's still the basics. Marching season, what it is you compete with and practice with the marching band. It is a huge time commitment. Your weekends are going to end up being booked once the season really gets going. After champs, you'll be fine. When the season's in full swing, you're gonna be booked every weekend. Recap of marching band tournaments. You practice at your school, or that's what we do at least. We practice at our school from I don't know, 10:30, 11, something like that to 2 or 3. Then we have a little break for us to get ready, get dinner. We gotta go to the tournament at 4-ish, something like that. It depends what time we perform. If you guys are a 4A or smaller band, you guys will perform earlier. 5A, 6A's towards the end of the night. So we get there, we warm up, we go out there, we perform, and then you get to go watch the other bands, and it's really, really fun. It's so much fun to watch the other color guards. They are amazing. You're gonna be running across the football field a lot. Color guard moves a lot, okay? Compared to the band, we booking it, okay? We're running around the whole field, and then every time the band director says reset, you gotta go back. Football games, they're very fun. You get to hang out with your friends. The band section for me, honestly, a lot more fun than the student hype section at my school. So I'm gonna talk about drill now. Drill is where you stand on the field. There's front to back directions, and there are side to side directions for each spot, each dot. That's what they call it. It's called a dot. You're gonna memorize it pretty fast, so eventually you're not gonna need to look at it because they're gonna make you keep doing it over and over, and it'll get etched into your brain where you have to go. I'll give you an example of it. I was number G6 this year. One of my drill spots was 1.0 steps inside 40-yard line, 2.5 steps behind front hash. So you're probably like, what the frick does that mean? And also counts, we had 12 counts. So the 12 counts means I have 12 counts to get there. That might not necessarily be true. The tech people will tell you. Maybe you have 4 counts of double time, 8 counts normal. They'll explain all of this to you when you get there, so don't stress if you're confused. So I have 12 counts to get there, basically. Side 1. There's sides 1 and 2. It is from the perspective of the judges. So if the judge is looking down, side 1 is their left, side 2 is their right. When you're on the field, side 1 is, it's gonna be opposite. You know what I mean? It's from the perspective of the judge. 1.0 steps inside the 40-yard line. There are these steps called 8 to 5s. So basically, I think 8 steps to go 5 yards. 1.0 steps inside the 40-yard line. So inside versus outside. Inside means closer to the 50-yard line. Outside means farther from the 50-yard line. And I was on side 1. If we're looking at it, I'm the judge. You guys are the judge. Side 1 is over here. Okay, side 1. Side 2. So side 1, when I'm the performer, I'm gonna go on over to side 1. That means the 40-yard line is here, and I am inside of it, so that means I'm closer to the 50. So the 40-yard line is on my right. It'll make more sense when you're like there. It's confusing to explain, but I am 1 step inside of it. And then the front to back, 2.5 steps behind front hash. So there is front sideline, front hash, back hash, and back sideline. And there's also that middle ground between the front and back hash, but there's no word for it. So yeah, I believe every field is different, but the top of the numbers to front sideline, 14 steps. Top of the numbers to front hash, 14 steps. Front hash to back hash, I believe it will be 28 steps. Back hash to top of the numbers over there, 14. Top of the numbers over there to the back sideline, 14. You guys can double check, they'll probably tell you, because that's very helpful, so you can figure out how to go. So 2.5 steps behind front hash. I would go stand on front hash, I would walk 2 steps back, and then I would have my dot, and make sure I'm 1 step in from 40-yard line. I'm sorry if that was really confusing. So Winterguard season, what it is. More difficult work than marching season because you're not running across a field anymore. You are judged more harshly. The judges are a lot closer to you here than they were at marching season. Marching season, they were far away. So when you perform, you have to look up a lot. They tell us to make an L like this and look up. But when you're at Winterguard, the judges are a lot closer. The stands are a lot smaller because you are in a gym. So, I mean, still perform, but like the judges are a lot closer. They can see a lot more. It's so much fun for Winterguard to watch the other guards, especially like world class or independent guards or just high schools that are better than ours. It's just so much fun to watch them. Now that I've told you guys what the different seasons are, I'm going to talk about the different equipment. There are other things that I have not been exposed to yet because I've only been in color guard for 2 years, but the basic equipment. First off, flag. Flag is what everybody starts out on. These are our practice silks, so they're purple. It is the easiest equipment out of the 3. It is the hardest to get back in on though, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is if you drop or if you get out of the work somehow and you're trying to get back into where everyone else is so the work is clean again, this is the hardest piece of equipment, in my opinion, to get back in on. But it is the easiest equipment out of the 3. It is scary, it has given me a black eye, it's fractured my nose. So the parts of the flag, these are the crutch tips. I called them the crotch tips. I learned that they're the crutch tips now. So there are bolts inside of there, and then the crutch tips to help keep the bolts in, and then you have to tape them because if a bolt comes out of your pole and it hits somebody, it is a severe problem and they will get hurt. You want to make sure that your crutch tips are taped firmly in. This is the silk, so yeah, this is just a practice one. This is the tab, so this is where the silk meets the pole, and I taped it on. This is the first cheater. This is the bottom cheater. So top cheater, bottom cheater. So yeah, this is middle, so middle is between first and second, you know, top and bottom cheater, it's between there. This is middle of the pole. This is a 6 foot. Most people spin 6 foot, I believe. Some of our like weaker people, they started on a 5 foot and then worked their way up to a 6 foot. Some basics on flag are singles for sure, thumb flips, parallels, 45s, doubles, single and a halves, cracker jacks, and pop tosses. And J tosses, those are sort of the basics, but they have different names in different places. If you guys want to see me try to do them, I could do that in a different video, but I'm not going to do them right now. Next piece of equipment, rifle! I need to retape my tip. It is harder to toss than a saber, but it is easier to catch than a saber. Because it's weighted, kind of weird, it's badass. Basics are like singles, doubles, triples, quads, 5s, 6s, etc. Continuing on. Spins, so that's just where I'm going to do it sitting. I can't do it, there's a flag back there, but you get the gist. Double time and singles with one hand, those are some basics that we had to learn. There are a lot more, I'm new to rifle, so. Basic parts of the rifle, this is the butt, the nose or the tip, I need to retape mine. This is the bolt. I get confused. There's like the swivel and there's something else, but those are on here somewhere. This is the strap, and this is the neck. So yeah, oftentimes you're gonna be holding the neck. So when you're doing right spins, you're gonna hold it like this, hand on the tip and hand at the neck. When you're doing left spins, you are gonna hold it with your hand at the butt and your hand, is this the swivel? I don't really know, but around here. And then sabre. Sabre is easier to toss than rifle. It is harder to catch. It is more of a flicking motion when you toss versus rifle. It's like straight. It is graceful. You are gonna get more bruises than rifles in my opinion. I haven't really been on saber line, but I love saber. I got up to quads with it, I think. I think I yeeted a 5 in the air once. They have me focus on rifle this year. This is the hilt. This is like the basket, I think it's called. We have your black tape, black spotting tape, and then you have your, is it called the spotter? I think it's called the spotter, but I'm not sure. So you start your spins. If you're doing right spins, you're gonna start like this, and then you're gonna push down, and it's gonna flip, and then you're gonna actually end up spinning it around here. You wanna stay outside of the black tape, but you're gonna spin around this general region. If you're doing lefts, you're gonna flip it around. Rifle, you don't like do that. On rifle, when you toss it, typically, there's a 5-7 setup, so you're gonna do 4 drop spins, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you do a spin, you're gonna catch it here. Over, close, here, hit, and then we go lock. So we hit on 5, lock it on 7, so hit, da, lock, da, out. For saber, you're gonna do 4 spins, and then once you're like this, you're gonna close, you're gonna lock, da. Ooh. It's a bad demo because I'm sitting down, but you get the gist. Color guard doesn't just involve flag, rifle, and saber, it also involves dance. So one of the things you're gonna do is across the floors. So across the floors are a dance technique that you're gonna do across the floor, hence the name. Some examples like, we call it sassy walk at our school, but like jazz walk, sachet passe, whatmas, you're gonna end up doing stuff like that. And they will teach you all of those when you're there because each color guard does different ones. You're gonna wanna know the positions. If you stand with your feet together, like this, that's first position. If you stand with them about shoulder width apart, that's second position. Plie, you're gonna like squat. This is really awkward to show, but you know what I mean? Releve means you are like, whoop. Tendus, you're gonna like, I'm not very good at these, sorry. Attitude, I can't show you guys right now. Rondation. So all that stuff you guys will learn, they will teach it to you, but those are some basics. So for bags, my color guard, we all tie-dyed backpacks together, so we have to use these. And then this is my flag bag. It's actually my friend Nika's because I broke mine because I carry it upside down because I'm short. So she gave me hers after she quit. You're gonna want one probably for marching season especially because you're gonna have a lot of flags and you're gonna have to carry them everywhere. Or you might have weapons too, so. I wrote down a list of things that you guys will want to keep with you. So first things first, you are going to want some jazz shoes. These ones are my tan ones. We use tan jazz shoes for marching and winter season this year. And I also have my black ones are upstairs. It depends what your show costumes are, what your show theme is. You're gonna wear different colored ones, but tan and black are the basic ones to have. And I keep mine in a plastic bag because at competitions and stuff, you change your shoes. So I put my sneakers in here while I'm wearing my jazz shoes. So I recommend bringing a plastic bag for that because your shoes are nasty, especially when it's raining at a comp. Oof. You are going to want some tape. This is duck electrical tape, but each color guard might use a different one, I don't know, different brand, it doesn't really matter. But you are gonna want white and black at least for taping your equipment. Other schools also add other colors. Like I was talking to some people, they had to tape their sabers orange or something. If you're a girl, you're gonna want pads and tampons too. I recommend bringing those around. And you're definitely gonna need hair ties because you have to tie your hair every day. You're gonna want workout clothes with you at all times. We just had Winterguard season, so we wore black on black when we dress out. This is my Wii shirt from BuzzFeed Unsolved. And then workout shorts or leggings. You basically need pants that you can move in, that's what they tell us. So for marching season, we wear white on black, and then for Winterguard, we wear black on black, but it might change for schools, so make sure to check with your school what their dress code is for class and practice. I leave my color guard backpack in my band locker, so yeah, I finally got one this year. I didn't have one last year. I had to carry it back and forth. You're gonna want a jacket. I keep a white jacket for marching season because we're supposed to wear white on top so that they can differentiate us from the band. After you perform at competitions, or maybe if it's a cold practice night, color guard people are sweating even at 9 p.m. So you might not need a jacket then, but have one with you just in case. For tournaments or football games, my color guard and band program, they require that we wear a jacket affiliated with the programs. So I have my band hoodie, and then I have my color guard windbreaker. I don't bring both with me. Warm-up clothes. So your school, they'll tell you what you guys are gonna wear for warm-ups, But before comps, when you guys are just stretching and warming up on equipment before you change into your costumes, you're probably gonna wear some sort of warm-up outfit, or maybe that's just my school, I don't know, but we do. So we have like these flannels and they've got like our school letter on the back and stuff. You should bring band-aids. I am known for bleeding on my team, my hands, all the time. I'm usually bleeding, so band-aids are something good to keep with you. Your costume. You're gonna want your costume if it's not kept at school. Like, we keep our marching season ones at school, but for Winterguard, we have our costumes with us, so here's my costume. If they're not attached to your weapon, your gloves. Ours are ever dry. Mine are size small. Water. Water's a giant necessity. When you are in marching season, they're gonna want you to have a half gallon or gallon. If you do drum corps, you have to have like a gallon, because you're gonna need that much water. So this is my half gallon that I use for marching season. It's got my name on it. So yeah, it's also got a straw because I'm cool. And then when it's Winterguard, we practice outside the theater, so there's water fountains in there, so it's pretty easy for us to just refill like a regular water bottle. Go get yourself a half gallon or gallon jug. You're gonna need it for band camp and all that. At competitions, food, bring food, and also bring your wallet. That's important. Also, a phone charger, very important necessity, like a portable charger. Also, I don't ever wear it, but sunscreen. My friends slather themselves in sunscreen at Harmony. Hat or sunglasses, I personally don't use those when I'm practicing because with a hat, the brim kind of gets in the way when you're trying to see. I've worn them sometimes, but if you're trying to toss, it's very hard. Richie figured out how to do it, so you know. Sunglasses, I can't do that because sunglasses disorient me, but people like Kira wear sunglasses, so give it a go, I don't know. A fanny pack. That's what they use in drum corps to carry their drill and stuff around. You can keep like tampons, medicine, whatever you need in there. So a fanny pack if you want to. I never used that, but like Lauren did and stuff. So for marching season, you're gonna want a lanyard because it's how you can hold your drill and keep it on you when you're running around. So here's my drill actually from my last show. Band-aid wrapper because I was always bleeding. So what I keep in my flag bag, honestly, I don't keep that much in my flag bag itself because it hasn't been marching season, I haven't been using it. I make sure to keep tape in my flag bag, so here's my black tape. In my flag bag, I keep my lanyard, and then my equipment, of course, is in here. Advice! Yay! I love giving advice. First things first, never give up. It will come eventually. And by it, I mean whatever you are struggling with in color guard, whether it's a toss, or a dance move, or some part of the work that's just hard. It will come eventually. It takes time and practice. If you're having a rough time with something, take a break. Go get some water, take a few breaths, and then come back to it. And any practice helps. You want to practice things the right way. You want to practice with good technique and stuff because that'll help get it etched in your mind. But what I'm saying is, there's this one time during my first year we were trying to do the one-handed 45. I was finally getting it, and then it fractured my nose. We never took me to the doctor. We think it fractured my nose because I ended up having like the purple bruises all up in here. So I lost the toss and I had to get it back. So I was working really hard on it and it wasn't working out. I kept dropping it. I was in my backyard, I remember this, and I was like beating myself up about it. I was cursing at myself, I was yelling at myself out loud. I talked to myself out loud, so it probably sounded insane to anyone around, like my neighbors. It wasn't going well and I ended on a rough note. Like I did not get the toss that day, I don't think. So I ended on a bad note, but the next day I went back to school, I tried it, and I had improved. So just practice, guys. If it's not coming to you, don't stress too hard. Just keep working at it. Eventually it's gonna come. You just need to practice. Practice makes perfect. Practice with good technique. So practice, that was my next tip. Practice! Practice makes perfect. Repetition is everything, guys. That is how you're gonna get things. Like we do this thing called the penny game. All the weapons, we have to do the toss. Everybody has to catch it. And then we count that as 1 penny. If somebody drops, we gotta start over and we try to get to like 5 pennies. Once we get that, we keep going, or we add on like the lower body we have to do, like the attitude we have to do under our quads, stuff like that. So repetition is everything. It'll help you get things a lot more consistently. Like if you have a part that you're really struggling with in the work, for me it was the singles at the start of our hit. Just keep practicing those over and over and over. Repetition is everything. Basically, I would practice all the time. I practice before school, I practice after school, I practice at water breaks, during guard. I practice all the time. My team knows this. Ask questions. Have people watch you do the work. Like ask the vets, ask your coaches to help you out if you need help. Ask them. Don't just like suffer alone, ask someone to help you out. That's what I do all the time. I'm like, yo, will you watch this? And I just make them watch me for fun sometimes. But ask someone for help, ask someone to watch you. They can give you tips about like your performance or your technique, stuff like that. If you're having trouble with the toss, like Rachel did this to me today. She said, hey, will you toss a quad with me so that I can see how mine's rotating, because she was trying to work out a trick, so she needed to figure out that. Or I asked Rachel to count my quad once because we were supposed to release it on 2, catch it on 5, and I kind of mess up the counts because when we toss it, we start over our counting. We go you know how it's supposed to be 2? We were like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 because the counts for our toss didn't line up with the counts in the music. You know what I mean? So I had Rachel count like the music ones and I counted the toss and to see if it would line up. So ask people for help if you need help. A way that you can work on it yourself, film yourself, and then you can see what you're doing wrong, what you can improve on, and yeah, that's very helpful. A thing that you guys should know before you go into color guard, you're gonna get hurt a lot. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna develop a pain tolerance really fast. I want to warn you guys about it. Your fingers are gonna get jammed all the time. You're gonna get hit with flags and weapons left and right. You're gonna constantly have bruises. Let's all recount my band camp bruise. Yeah. So if you guys want to watch my other color guard videos, by the way, they'll be in the description, hopefully. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna have to get ready for it. I went into Mandarins auditions with a huge bruise on my hand that made it hurt so bad to spin, and I pushed through it. I went that whole weekend. They made us spin weapon constantly. I was in pain, but actually eventually the pain numbed. So, you know, I got through it. You're gonna have to develop a pain tolerance. You are gonna get so swole. This isn't advice, I'm just throwing things out there now. You're gonna get so swole, you're gonna be so proud. I'm losing my swole right now because Winterguard season ended and we had spring break, so I'm losing that swole, but I gotta get it back. Don't get discouraged about basics and stuff. That is honestly probably some of the hardest stuff. I'm still not the best at basics, but it's gonna get a lot easier as you progress in your color guard career. You're gonna end up doing like harder tosses and stuff, and you're gonna get those, and then you're gonna go back to basics and you'll be like, wait a second, I can do this. It's going to get easier, it just takes time and practice and repetition, so don't get discouraged about basics and everything. A big one, the first year is definitely the hardest year, so just push through it and you will come to love color guard. We have this motivational speaker come in on our first day of band camp, and one thing he told us was, if you have to, you might as well want to. So this applies to practices, rehearse-a-thons, a toss that they want you to do, all that sort of stuff. Try things, go for them. If your coach gave you a crazy toss and you're like, I'm gonna die, safely try to do the toss. You gotta go for stuff, man. Even if it seems crazy, gotta try it. We had to toss a double on flag and roll under it. It was a painful journey. I had a huge bruise on my arm the size of an apple from like one of the first times I tried it because I went for it and it whacked me, but I got the double and roll, I got it. And Mandarins, they would ask me to do insane chiz, and I was like, alright, sure. Like, if my coach had asked me to do that stuff, I probably would have been like, what? But at Mandarins, I was like, they're judging me, I gotta go for it, so I went for it. So my experience, and basically, this is where you're gonna get more of an intricate view into what like marching season's like, what Winterguard's like, all that. I'll go in chronological order. First things first, some accolades I got. My color guard, we give out awards to every member at our color guard banquet. We have 2 banquets, color guard and band, and I got most determined both years. But separate from that, at band awards night, I was most improved color guard member my first year. It is a huge time commitment. That is something that you definitely need to know about color guard before you go into it. It's a huge time commitment. For marching season, we practiced Tuesdays from 5:45 to 9. 5:30 was like with the 50-minute rules. Thursdays we practiced from 3:30 to 5:30. Fridays we would have, if we had a football game, we would practice from 3:30-ish to 4:30-ish. And then call time would probably be like, I don't know, 5:45, 6, something like that. We'd have to go down and we'd stay at the football game till like 9. Oh no, till like 10. I don't know, it was very late. And then Saturdays, we would rehearse from like, depending when we had to perform, but we probably rehearsed from like, say, 11 to like 3 or something. That's why I like never ate lunch. Please eat, but I would always forget to eat lunch. So like 11 to like, I don't know, 2, 3. And then we would have time to go home sometimes, or you would have to stay there for other comps to eat, do your makeup, get in your costume, and then tournament, you would have to be there like, I don't know, 4, say 4, or like 3 something. And then you'd be there until like 10 at night. So your Saturdays, gone. And then days off, we didn't get those. What? No days off, am I right? So professional growth days, gone. Those were rehearse-a-thon days. We would practice from either 8 to 3 or 1 to 9. That's just marching season. Then for Winterguard season, my school does Tuesday, we practice from 3:30 to 6:30. Thursdays we practice from 3:30 to 5:30. We have comps on some Saturdays, so we would practice at like, I don't know, 11, practice, go to the comp, get home at like 10. So band camp, it varies from school to school. For my school, we had band camp Saturday, then Monday through Saturday. The week right before school, we would practice from 12 to 9. Honestly, I don't really remember that much about band camp, but I think honestly it was fun. You can watch my junior year band camp vlog right here. It's honestly fun. Wear sunscreen, guys. There are spirit days, or at least we had some at my school, so you get to dress up for those. That's fun. Except you have to go change into your color guard wear. Make sure you have food, because, or at least my school feeds us, which is why band camp is actually kind of expensive. Like, color guard's very expensive. They feed us, but like I'm kind of lactose intolerant, so like I can't have the cheese on pizza. When I was signing up for band camp, I was like, lactose intolerant. You know what they served us? Pizza. They serve that at like every color guard thing I go to. Either like take the cheese off or bring your own dinner. Like if you're like vegan or vegetarian or you have some sort of dietary restriction, you might want to bring your own dinner as a backup. They might tell you what they're gonna have, but they might not. We had like Subway sandwiches, we had hot dogs, it like varied from each day. We had Chinese food, it was like the best. If you're not gonna eat the snacks and dinner that they give you, make sure that you have your own snacks and dinner. Band camp is basically a lot of just basics practice. I talk about everything we did at band camp this year in my band camp vlog. If you want what it's like day to day at a band camp, I talk about it in that. Basically a lot of basics. You're probably gonna do weapon auditions. Not your first year usually, but if you're ready for it, like if you've been taught how to do those things, you could try. We do weapon tryouts, practice flag basics a lot, dance basics, so like across the floors. We do conditioning. We stretch every day. You're gonna get very flexible. You're gonna stretch your splits. I was a noob, I didn't know how to do that. Sophomore year, I don't actually remember much, but that was my first year at band camp. I don't remember much about it. I got a black eye on the last day because my flag crutch tip hit me in the eye. Junior year, just go watch the vlog. So yeah, that was my band camp experience. If you have specific questions about it, let me know. So, marching season. My school is a 5A marching band. 5A is pretty good. The highest is 6A. We're trying to stay a 5A, so we made band kids switch over to color guard for Bach and Forth. Because the cutoff, it's based off of like how many people are in your band. And color guard doesn't count as band members because we're like ostracized. My very first marching season, we did a show called Bach and Forth. It was the music wasn't even Bach. The very beginning I think was Bach or something, but like it wasn't Bach. It was very hard because it was my first season. I was on flag line because it was my first season. Honestly, all I remember from that was we did a lot of cleaning flag work and we were changing work up until the very last comp. Like we did not stop rewriting and rewriting parts of the show, adding things, taking things out, changing them. You're gonna have to learn things really fast, but that was my first season's experience. My first Winterguard season, we did a show called Be One of Us. It was about like a cult, to be honest. It was a hard season because it's a lot more focused on like actual color guard technique rather than running around a field. I will link all the shows like in the description. My color guard that I'm in for Winterguard, when we are in the WGASC division, we are a Scholastic AAA. When we are in the WGI division, we are a Intermediate A. There are different class levels for when you're competing. We placed 7 out of 9. It was a rough season, not great. I had like social problems, so I practiced color guard a lot instead because, you know, that's how you don't look lonely. If you're spinning a flag around, it looks like you chose to have a 6-foot radius around you. Yeah, and then I got most improved color guard probably because I was practicing all the time because I was lonely. Then we have junior year. So I started learning some rifle stuff back then, and then I practiced super duper hard over summer. I was practicing all the time because I was really excited for weapon line auditions, and I would like watch our Bach and Forth videos over and over and just stare at the weapon line, and I was like, oh. I was so excited for auditions. I would watch that so many times. So we had auditions at band camp. Technically I made rifle line for our show, which was called Deco, and then the day before school started we found out that we had to cut one of the rifle line members, and I knew I was the worst one, so I knew they were gonna cut me, and then they told me that they were cutting me, and so then I was really sad and I cried for 4 hours. It'd be like that. I also tried out for sabre line, and I was really excited because I was like tossing quads and doing attitudes under them, and I was really excited. I was like, maybe I'll make it, and I did not make it. So I was pretty sad for Deco. I was on flag line. It was a fun show though. It was good music, like we got to look cute. It was like great Gatsby sort of vibes. I had to spin a 10-foot pole too. Deco was not a great season for me. Like it wasn't terrible, but I didn't have any like standout shows. Like Bach and Forth, my champs run was my best run, or maybe my Vista run was my best. No, I don't know, one of them. Deco did not have any shows that stood out for me. In fact, champs sucked. I was just yeeting stuff because I was like, we're gonna do well because the band is already in good standing and they don't care about color guard. So I was like, yeet, and there goes my toss. Also, my hands are really cold, so that's why champs sucked for me for Deco. And I did drum corps auditions. That is what got me through Deco. I'm not gonna lie. Drum corps auditions were the only reason I kept pursuing my passion and like practicing. So I tried out for 2 drum corps. I tried out for Vessel, which is an open class drum corps, and I tried out for Mandarins, which is a world class drum corps. I wanted to try out for Pacific Crest too, but I was taking the SAT. It was really scary. Like going into it, I was very scared. You can go watch my vlog. It's Vlogmas Day 9. I woke up early, drove up to Ontario alone. I got in line to register for Vessel, and I was so scared. I tweeted this. And then I ended up having a lot of fun. Vessel auditions one day. It was a lot of fun. I got a contract at the end of the day because honestly they took all of us. They're a new drum corps, so they needed all of us. I learned a flag ditty and a dance ditty. We did across the floor, stretches. They gave us pizza. I made some new friends there, so that was good, especially because some of the new friends that I made there were going to Mandarins auditions. I have like a talent for seeing people who are just as nervous at things, if not more than I am, so then I befriend them, and so that's how that goes. Honestly, wasn't that bad. I have ultimately decided not to do Vessel. I did not send in my contract. I made that decision back in January, which I'll talk about later in my why I'm leaving section. So the next weekend I tried out for Mandarins. You can go watch my vlogmas about that. That was, hands down, that was the hardest weekend of my life. After, I was sore all over. My entire body was either bruised, bleeding, or sore. Like there were so many bruises all up on my back because we had to do a lot of rolling and stuff on our backs. My butt was like, ow, because we had to keep landing on it. I was all sore from like, I don't know, cross the floors and stuff. My whole body was sore. I was bleeding out of my hands. My lip, I whacked my lip, split it open. You know, it was a hard weekend, but I learned so much. In that like day and a half, I learned so much, guys. And I grew so much as like a color guard member. I made new friends too, and it was a challenge, which is good. You gotta push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You can't just stay in it, otherwise you'll never grow. They would tell us to do something, and I would just do it with no question, so I'm really proud of myself for that. I would just go for it. They go, roll, and I was like, I can't do gymnastics for the life of me. But they would be like, go, somersault now, and I was like, okay, here we go. If you say so. We did like 3 rolls in like the dance, and I just went for them all the time. I did not get a contract or a callback from Mandarins. I knew that going in because I got my rifle 5s the week before the auditions, and that was with a plie, and then we got there, and their like base number, they were like, toss 7s. No plie. I don't know. I don't remember if you got a plie for 7s, but you did not get a plie for 5s or 6s. We tossed in first position at Mandarins. Your free hand was a fist while your rifle was spinning. So for someone who was very, very new to rifle, I was at the end. They lined us up in lines of talent. And I was like at the last one because we were the ones who couldn't do those high tosses as well. We tried, so that's all that matters. It was just a good experience where I learned a lot. Then our Winterguard show for this year was called Sheer. I was on rifle B line because they said I'd be on rifle line when I was crying for 4 hours. It was a good season. I had a good champs run. We were 6 out of 10 color guards. We switched what we competed in, so we went from wgasc to wgi, so it was a lot harder of gradings, because if we had stayed, we would have done better, but we would have had a longer season. It was a challenge, but we got to see some other color guards, and it was really cool. That's basically my high school experience in color guard. I'm leaving. There are a lot of reasons. A lot of them are specific to my school's band and color guard program, so don't freak out. Like, don't go, well, Alison's leaving, why would I continue my journey into color guard? Don't worry about that, because I still love color guard with all of my heart. It is an amazing sport. Marching band and color guard, I definitely think should be considered sports. They are also so beautiful. It's like a whole different world that most people don't even know exists, and it's so, so amazing. So I highly encourage everybody to join it, try it out. I advocate for color guard all the time, so yeah. But why I'm leaving, a lot of reasons. I'm only going to share some of them. Also, like, part of me wishes that I did choose to do drum corps, but also a larger part of me is glad that I decided not to. So basically on that decision, when it was time to sign the contract, send in the money, it's a huge cost to do drum corps. When it was time to send in those decisions, I was going through a really rough time. If you watched my I Wasn't Okay video, that was smack in the middle of like January. So I asked like everybody for their opinions on what I should do. One of my friends told me, it sounds like you're not just at a crossroads with Vessel or not, it's also like color guard. My other friend told me if it's like stressing you out this much, you shouldn't do it, or I forget what she said, but she said don't do it. One of the things I was scared of, I didn't trust myself to make decisions at the time because I was going through a really rough time, and so I didn't trust my decision making. So I thought, if I'm going to decide not to do it, what if I end up wanting to do it later and I end up being full of regrets? But I ended up choosing not to do it. I told my therapist that, and she was like, well, did you feel relief after you chose not to do it? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, then don't regret your decision. So I was relieved after that, and I am glad now that I decided not to do it. But yeah, definitely it was a lot of specific stuff about the band and color guard program. Like, it was toxic for me at our school, so I'm leaving. A big one was the time commitment. Like, I love color guard so much, but it's not where I'm meant to be. It really seems like life is laying out a path for me that's not color guard, because like as soon as I like decided to leave color guard, I ran for Key Club Treasurer, and then I found out I was running unopposed, so I got elected. So I'm going to be Key Club Treasurer for 2019 and 2020, and Key Club is something that makes me a lot happier. And then theater, I auditioned for the theater productions. I'm in the one acts right now. My singing voice came back. During marching season, I got super sick, and my voice, I lost a lot of my range because you're around a lot of people and they're sick as well, and it's like cold at practices, so I got super sick. And then from all the yelling and counting that you have to do in color guard, my voice was under a lot of strain, and so now that color guard's ending, my voice is coming back a lot. Like my last singing lesson, my singing teacher said it was the healthiest my voice has been in months. The hard 5 months of my life that I went through, they helped show me that color guard's not where I'm supposed to be, for sure. Because I thought I lost my passion for like everything, but I realized that when I left key club events or singing lessons during that time, I was happy. When I was at color guard things, I was not happy. And when I was watching the school musical, I was actually sad. Like, it was a comedy and I was sad because I was like, that could have been me up there, but I was stuck doing my color guard time commitment. There are a lot of other things that I want to try and do and experience. Also, I'm tired of the pain, physical, like I'm tired of jammed fingers all the time, bruises everywhere, bleeding. I'm tired of the emotional pain and stress. The strain of my singing voice was a big one because I want to be a singer and an actress. I did not even plan on going into color guard in college, so it makes a lot more sense for me to prioritize my singing voice because that's what I ultimately want to do. I had to miss out on a lot of my life from color guard. My school's color guard program makes it hard for like people on the team to plan like family vacations and stuff. For me personally, I couldn't go to Key Club Fall Rally because it was always the same day as Vista tournament. I barely saw my non-color guard or band friends. I was part of Link Crew, but I had to miss it, so I couldn't stay with my freshmen the whole time. Had to miss it for the rally. Money, like I'm saving a lot of money by not doing color guard, so I can put that money towards other things. Like I have a lot of things planned for this year instead, and I'm like, I'm using that color guard money. I'm going to concerts, I'm going to a convention. I'm like, I could buy like a Disneyland annual pass, and that from my color guard money. I have the freedom to dye and cut my hair whenever I want. I have the freedom to like get my nails done because I couldn't do that during the seasons. I don't have to worry about dressing out and being a sweaty mess every day, so that means like changing into my workout clothes and then changing back and being a sweaty mess, because like I planned my like outfits around color guard. That sucked. Especially because when I was really sad, I didn't want to do the effort of having to change for color guard, so I ended up wearing my color guard clothes all the time. That's why I was always wearing black during those months, because that's what we wear for color guard. So I can enjoy freedom at the football games. Like, as much as I love going with the band section of football games, you can't have your phone, you can't like do the face paint and stuff, and I want to have like the high school experience and like having my phone, taking photos with my friends, having a good time, being able to eat at football games. I wanted that high school experience. I want to get a job. I got the application today for the job that I'm hoping to have instead of color guard. I want to be able to go home because like I've had off rolls and I haven't been able to go home because color guard made us come back to school and practice for 10 minutes after school every day, so I couldn't go home at off roll, and it annoyed me a lot. There were a lot of reasons I wanted to stay, like teaching new people, loving the sport itself, staying in shape and all that. Also, it was scary because like color guard and band's kind of like a cult, and once you're in it, it's like hard to leave it because it's like who you are, and it's like that's where all your friends are, except a lot of my friends are quitting too, so, or they have quit. But it makes my life more interesting and full. That's the end of this video. I hope it helped you guys out at least a little bit. So yeah, if you have any more questions or you want to see any more videos, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!